Alright, so I felt inspired to make this video because I got inspired. Oh, I just remembered a guy commented on my channel asking for, is there any way that he can donate to the project, because he kind of sees the value in it, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, there have been times that I thought about and inspired to think that I was able to do that, to crowdfund and do all that, but life happens, business keeps going and stuff like that, and I've just, I guess I gotten so annoyed and impatient in a sense to formulate a good video, or at least invest money and time to it, because I know it's gonna take some time to really, I guess, convert people. Basically, damn, see, there's so much. To just my baseline cost of living right now is about 12 grand per month. Okay, and because I took risks in the businesses, I have that debt to pay off. So if it wasn't for the debt, I'll have a totally different cost of living. But still, you need money to develop things. You obviously do, right? That's why sometimes, obviously, the Kickstarter or other things is like, okay, pre-seed money, right? So in a sense, this I guess asking for donations in a sense, or the start of it. Fuck, just oh my god. Okay. I don't want to ask for donations. Does it hurt to ask? No, I guess. At this point, no. But still, will this video and stuff like that will be enough to convince people to invest in me? Or not invest in me, sorry, invest in the idea. So I was going to do a video. Actually, I may do a video on that. Just throwing out the numbers of what it would need. Obviously, the more people join in, the less donations people will have to make, right? And I was thinking about donations, stuff like that, when I created the original crowdfunding web thing. I would have to direct traffic to there, right? I had a Facebook, but I don't necessarily get along with people that well. Not because they're bad, whatever. Just like, it's like I'm on a mission. And if you're not going to be part of the movement, the tribe, or whatever, or part of that process, sure, don't burn bridges and this and that. But again, I guess that's basically what I'm trying to show you here is I'm going to do what this guy's doing, right? So let me stop talking here. Let's show this first example here, okay? When I saw this, it was another one of those, just amazing feedback from the universe to just. Yeah, it may seem ambitious and grandiose and stuff like that, and eventually you're gonna see I'm not trying to control anybody. This is actually a very self-thinking system, let me say. Anyways, let's just
meet Bashar.
Hi, my name is Bashar, and I got arrested 8 times.
Bashar grew up in Nablus, Palestine, and as a kid, he would regularly protest the Israeli occupation by throwing rocks at them.
But my rocks didn't go far.
They did, however, get him arrested by Israel 8 times. Then he realized he needed a more effective way to be heard. So he went to the US, pursued an engineering degree, opened 30 businesses, got into real estate, and got rich.
Rich enough.
So rich, he decided to make the biggest gamble of his life. He launched a $1 billion campaign to build a new city from scratch in the middle of Palestine.
To house 40,000 people and create 10,000 new jobs for Palestinians.
And his project has worldwide support, even from many Israelis. This is the crazy story of Bashar, who instead of throwing rocks, decided to build an entire city out of them. And that was the most effective rock he ever threw.
That's 1 minute. See you tomorrow.
now. The average age of a billionaire usually they are men, the majority of them men, and the women that are billionaires usually majority divorced billionaire men. But that's a whole other story. And shout out to the girls in the future that I know that are gonna want to be part of this project, and whether they have some kind of skills, whether they're architect or I don't know, whatever, even just wants to have my kid, I thank you, ladies. You guys are we're definitely going to be actually manifesting true love in a sense. But anywho, Um, yeah, is 51 years old. Now, something tells me deep inside, even though I, if you saw my credit, it's not, I mean, it's bad, but not too bad. You know, I got an S5, or, you know, plan on buying that good mirror that you see back there. See, you see that's, I got quoted for 1.7 million or whatever, but anyways, yes, I am going to take care of myself first, okay? Because too many of you just can't really get along with each other. You guys can't work. Even people in these enlightened communities, sure, you may love the concept of it, but there's still some part of you inside of you that's just like, you don't know, will be triggered in the process of whatever, and you won't be able to really just forgive or submit or whatever to, I guess, a higher authority, or in this case a higher concept in you. Basically you want it to be right, even though you're not wrong or right, but it won't help the situation. And that's why, you know, again, when I was talking to many people and I've seen the hippie community and all that stuff, and it's like a community and all stuff, and then they ended up fighting each other. It's like, oh my God, you people are children still. I thought you were adults, but no, I'm sorry. And again, there's nothing wrong or right about being adult with children. Okay, there's nothing better, or it's just we're in different phases. Some of us, obviously, just like I was born first of a certain person, whatever. Therefore, you know, I'm in the phase of 37, right? Whereas someone's just starting their 5th phase, right? So there's different phases. It's not as a parent on the soul level with human beings, but especially if you're on the lower end spectrum, if you're on the high spectrum, you can kind of tell, like, oh shit, yeah, that person is on a higher spiritual level / age. Because it's not about superiority; it's just about guidance, you know. Anyways, then when the answer came to this problem, I'm like, okay, fuck, these people can't seem to work together. And that's part of it. I saw that the vision wasn't that clear. That's what I kind of had my issues with the Venus project, because there was no transition plan. Great idea of the end and stuff like that, but there was no transition. How the fuck do you get there? And then they want it to be totally there, and it's like, no, you might as well just create your own thing in a hybrid aspect, because it's a transitional system, but it has the foundation to lead you to the ultimate goal that you were projecting. And yes, until the 99.9% of the people follow it. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not that of an idealist. I'm a pragmatical person. And that's why I'm not really looking at technology that's like 5 years on the road speculative. No, like, what do we have now? What does it cost? Okay, great. You know, and that's, so if I have the money, like, okay, so like Bashar, I'm sure there was some decent money spent. Okay, you know, you don't become a billionaire, you're not dumb, and you know, you have to have some definite above average smarts and things to become a billionaire. Are there some accidental billionaires, like the guy who fucking owns Snapchat? Oh god, that little kid, whatever. But on average, no. You know, they're usually pretty intelligent. But what is intelligent? That's so subjective too. It's like beauty, in a sense. It is kind of like beauty, you know, because obviously we have lots of, in a sense. Then in that, from that perspective, we have lots of beautiful people, right? And nowadays everything's built by a team. Like, look, like even this beautiful work of engineering. That's why I never thought I would want a almost $2 million car. Even though this car will appreciate value too, because there's only 300 of them. Anyways, it's a long story. As you evolve as a person, you'll see. But anyways, yeah, it took a team. Obviously, and then not only did it take a team, it took other teams to even just like the team that builds that manufactures that rubber tire, the brakes, just whatever they had to outsource and really couldn't build inside. That was just, in a sense, a sub team. You know. Anyways, point being is, I think I will get. The only point I will feel comfortable to ask for donations is when I spent a good amount of money. Now, could it hurt? No, it's just, okay, look, I don't have the time, right? I don't have the time to deal with this right now. You know, I have actually lots of videos that I could be uploading, whatever, but it's just like, I don't feel basically it's time yet because I know I'm not going to be able to extract enough financial value. Now, hey, if some rich guy runs into this, okay, great, but the chance of that is pretty small. I mean, I would need a basically I would need about a $500,000. Let's see. Let's just throw an arbitrary number, right? Let's say $10 is a fee. Sorry. All right. Let's say $10 a month is something that would be the average that however many people decide to donate to me. And donations are actually very interesting. Here's the thing, right? Because technically speaking, here we go. By law, a person who can only gift you $15,000 before any dollar after that, they have to pay a second tax on that. Even though they already got taxed on their own personal money, that if they choose, look, the idea was out of good intentions, kind of like basically inheritance. Basically, it's an inheritance tax, so that the rich can't just pass all their money to their kids, and basically, so it's a way for the government to kind of take away a little bit of that advantage, right? And obviously distribute it as distributed to the masses, right? But on the bad side is that if you're trying to create wealth to do something positive instead of just hoarding it and buying more and more material shit. I know people sometimes like give me shit about wanting a car, like, but trust me, it's like it's gonna be pennies compared to how much money I'm gonna give back. All right, you don't understand, because you haven't done the numbers, so I won't blame you. But that's going to be the fun part of this journey of just showing you the full financial transparency. Be like, oh shit, yeah. Even though he's a billionaire, he could have bought 5 houses, but he only has 2, right? He could have bought a whole garage full of these cars and then some, right? Not just one $2 million car, but he basically just has one, and he shares it with his community, and blah 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 blah. I could go on and on and on. So some of you self-righteous people, and I can't believe I was probably like that too. But again, as you expand your knowledge, if you fall in love with gaining knowledge, it becomes totally different. But anyways, okay, so 15. So I need $500,000, and that's actually accounting for taxes. Okay, so $500,000 a year. All right, divided by 12. That means I need 41 grand. $41,666, right? So let's just say $42,000, right? $42,000 per month divided by 15. Oh shit. No, hold on. See, that's the. If I divide it by 15,000, I would need basically 2.8 people, basically roughly 3 people, to give me $15,000 or just under $15,000 every month. So okay, so let's say instead of $15,000, let's say 15,000 people, right? So let's see here. Okay, so if I need $42,000, right, per month, at a donation of $10, well, yeah. So obviously, I need 4,200. I need 4,200 people. Now, that can seem a lot, but it could also not be a lot, because again, okay, here's the thing, right? That I observe most people don't know what is, and I didn't know at one point either, obviously, right? But because I had consulted for millionaires for this cannabis project in Illinois, long story. I found, I had to know. I came to the question of like, okay, how many people are there in America? How many people are there in this state? How many people are in this county? How many people are in this city? And da 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 da. So I learned that basically we're at what? Let's see where we're at now. Where's the current population of the U.S. population?
According to Worldometer, the United States 2020 population is estimated at 331,002,651 people at mid-year, according to UN data.
Okay. 2020, estimated about 331 million, right? So 4,200 divided by 331 million, right? That is, I only need 0.00001268% of the population to donate $10 a month for me to generate $42,000 a month and dedicate my whole time. And obviously, that a lot of that money is gonna, part of that money is gonna go into well, that's my okay, so that's my ultimate lifestyle, right? And that's what I'm striving for. So that can be covered based on everything else beyond that, whatever. Of course, it would allow me to, well, if it just started like that, it would allow me to make certain investments to just basically start producing money on top of that donation. And so when there's excess, the excess is going to start paying for my personal lifestyle, whatever, or just my salary, right? That's me, my salary. Basically, as a company, we'll be producing so much. Okay, a part of the donations will be part of the profit generation, but the businesses that I create will also be pulling into the pool, right? And because that pool's gonna be getting bigger and bigger, bigger than $500,000, all that money is gonna go to this project, right? To first and foremost, design. Like as I was saying with this guy, right? I'm sure he spent a couple of, can't see it, but anyways, Bashar, I'm sure spent a good amount of money just designing that, right? Because that's the plan with me, right? I'm gonna buy the land and actually hire architectural and land development firms, right? Well, first of all, I have to analyze multiple lands, right? I hire these development firms. They give me their opinion, obviously interpreted with my knowledge, right? Then once I refine and say, okay, this is the one that has basically almost everything, hopefully, right? Whatever. This is the land out of 5 or 7, lands we analyzed and then did some preliminary sketches and numbers or whatever. This is the best one. Okay, now we're going with that. What is the actual layout of the land, right? Can we still create a circular city, or will we have some modifications because of certain aspects? Just that's why I really want to deal. I started working on my 3D model to see, but it's like in the real world you're gonna have a totally different thing. Yes, if you go in the middle of it all depends, right? It depends on where you go. But what I'm trying to go is kind of mountainish, so it may not, and there's rivers and shit like that. You may not want to disturb them, stuff like that. So yeah, there's just when we get there, it's gonna be great. I'm saying I really want to work with something real and tangible, right? Not hypothetical. I don't want to do with the hypothetical. Like I said, just like inventions and stuff like that. Technologies. I don't want to deal with stuff that's. I want to what is already available. Obviously, right now for like batteries, stuff like that, is Tesla, and of course we want to actually help that company too. If we able to collect a group money, we want to help companies like that. So anywho, now of course people say, well, out of those 331 million, there are babies and this and that. So you can basically divide it by a third. That's what I've seen. It's actually a third of them would be adults. And you would say about maybe 2/3 would actually be the ones. Basically, 2/3 of that population would actually be able to get money, at a $10 rate. All I'm saying is it's insignificant, right? So, the way I would do it is obviously you would email me. Actually, I started to figure out some kind of system. I started designing a system of how to keep track of the donators, because I do actually want to give you money back. Actually, I want to give you money back. Now, of course, again, in the final declaration, I will explain, hey, yes, I'm not promising you anything to give you back, but if it works, I'm going to give you something back. But I also can't tell you a percentage, But ultimately, people that donate already, they're not looking for financial return on their investment, okay? But I'm saying if I can, I will, and I will keep log of it, and I will be transparent with it, right? I won't give your last name or whatever for public. Well, no, see, that's what I'm saying. Why would it matter, right? So, anywho, the point is financial visibility. I gotta upload that thing from the Conversation with God books. I know some of you atheists, and I was an atheist. God, it's not what you think. I know. Trust me. I kind of was hesitant when I heard that title too, but you know, whether I'm closed or whatever, I tend to be generally open. There's times where you're just gonna close off. You have to process information, and then you got to reopen up again or stuff like that. And sometimes just life forces to. Anyways, but people who see my things, I think, and you'll see my website, you'll see I have to be pretty open. You have to be pretty open in general to be designing. So, you know, I'm all about the better, efficient design and everything. So, yeah, so I will keep a spreadsheet right now with what you donate, right, through Cash App, because using these other crypto, you know, GoFundMe, whether it's Kickstarter or whatever the fuck, right, Indiegogo, they take a portion of it. But if I still have to put all the effort to put the traffic in, whether it's also putting ads out on YouTube, you know, make a much more compelling story, hire some, you know, third world country, you know, animator, and I could use some say, but it's like I don't want to start the path if I can't finish it, you know. And now I made a couple of investments that I can actually bring some of you guys into because it involves crypto, and then man, just oh my god, just the things that I realized about crypto, especially Bitcoin and stuff like that, and just the concept also where it can also take us into a whole other new dimension, and the money that's, oh my god, it's just I know most of you don't live in fear and small ambitions and stuff like that, but you shouldn't feel bad either, because a lot of us live vicariously through all kinds of different people. So that's what I'm trying to get to the point. It's like, okay, you know, there's a lot of you that have good hearts, but you don't have the skills, and that is no shade on you or degrading you. No, it's just you don't have those skills, right? But what if you do have money, you can pay it to me to hire the right people who do have the skills. They may not have the same visions and goals as you do, but who cares? You need their services to produce the environment for you to come in there and maybe hopefully expand your skill sets. You know, that's the thing with our society. That's why I'm designing a way like to always expand your skill sets. You know, instead of, you know, like, oh fuck, I chose this degree, if it didn't really pan out, now I think this degree would be better, but I can't really go back to college, or this and that, you know, or I can, but I might do so much headaches and suffering. And, you know, of course, that's life, man. There's a lot of suffering. Even though we're trying to eliminate suffering, sometimes it seems without suffering, a lot of people just are self-destructive. This is the irony of it all too. That's the other thing I realized too. Like, man, like a perfect world, but again, we would have to project and give a different images to the public, right, through cartoons and all those stuff, to not produce those kinds of people that are basically, you know, going to not be creative, basically, you know. So, but there always has to be all kinds. There has to be the bell curve, right? You know, you always have some weird loose nuts, whatever. But again, see, that's the thing, we don't have to convert everybody. Who gives a fuck about converting everybody either, too? Like, even if we just get 100,000 people in this community, right, to live in a micro version, in a sense it will be a micro version, right, that can be scaled up, right, because that's what it is. You got to be able to scale it up, right? Once you have that first person, you can be able to scale it up, you know. So yeah, so at the end of the day too, I just really don't care. That's why I like Bashar. Okay, Bashar seems to have a capacity with what he designed for about 40,000 people, right? That's his capacity. So but again, what I'm really more concerned is developing the baseline structures, right? You know, templates, whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about not only the legal contracts, right, but the financial system as well on it, right? So once we create the town crypto coin, right, to kind of bring, it's kind of like the towns that create their own currencies. You can look it up, you know. Again, see, I don't ever know who I'm talking to. I'm sure, and I know I'm talking to a broad range of people, but I'm sorry, in that broad range of people, I don't know what your level of intellect is, let alone your hunger for expanding that knowledge. Each of you are going to have different levels of it, you know. Right now, most of you definitely, you know, squander it or whatever, or you're in the phase where you're curious, but then at one point you really realize, like, oh shit, I won't be able to manifest any of these greater esoteric or spiritual or whatever ideas if I don't have money. And in the most way, usually the way to get money for the most part is develop a product. I'm telling you now, for those of you that have a healthy perspective of money and don't curse it and this and that, right? because this is that's what's gonna make it's gonna fund what I'm gonna produce for you guys. That some of you may not donate any money for it, but you will get the benefits of of my basically my sacrifice. Okay, or the sacrifice that we all made for me having to make maybe another stupid product that was just gonna escalate the disbalance of the ecosystem or whatever. But sometimes you have to become who you're not going to become who you want to be, and yeah, it's not a straight line, So it's a means to an end. So even though I'm a minimalist and but I'm also focusing on products that I still think are genuine and again practical, needed. That's a totally different from a product that is just, I don't know, let's say another stupid phone case. Like, no one needs another fucking really phone case. There's so many other creators out there. The last thing is to need another fucking phone case, right? So, but anyway, so the point is, do not focus on services because you can't. Those are hard to scale up, and you've got to deal with humans. And those of us that are aware will realize that most humans are just. Woo! And at this point too, it's getting. It's gonna be a miracle. I know it's gonna happen, but. Anywho, and then products can be scaled up, right? Once it's especially if it's a consumer product. I mean, look at the guy. I'm sure whoever made this is probably a billionaire. The guy that made kombucha is a billionaire. Okay, so I actually happened to invest in a CBD company with a famous cannabis grower. We did have in a fight. He did fucking run off. I raised like $250,000 for that project. And he pissed it off. Anyways, whatever. It's just what happens. That's the usual story of successful people. We have lots of failures, and eventually we have hits. And once you make some good money, once I make good money in a couple of these projects, man. Once I have the first product, because I know it's gonna be a product, makes me the fucking a couple mil. It's over because again, I'm a minimalist. Sure, I said I have. That's in the end when the machine's fully lubricated and running or whatever. Yeah, so as I'm saying, if it's producing me, let's say, $4 million a year, but it only $500,000 of that actually goes, I'm saying, in the net of it all, right? After taxes, it's all of these products or whatever or products it's bringing me $4 million a year, right? Only $500,000 of that $500,000 of that total $4 million is going into my lifestyle. So but again, I'm producing value that therefore I'm making more than I'm consuming, and all that extra is going to go back obviously again, I already allocated profits from the company to go back into the company. So this is strictly personal project, and this is it designing this shit, right? Of course I'm going to create a business out of it, a cooperative corporation to be exact, and go from there. We still got to generate revenue, whatever, but it's going to be totally different, and there is a plan to it. There's a whole destination, which is at least convert. Well, we may not see it, but I'm saying to little by little figure out how really we wouldn't need any money, because the culture will need to change. But the thing with money, as I keep seeing it, it's not money, it's our perspectives, because the thing is, you're still going to need money to potentially, at least for a while, I guess, until the robots basically. That's basically it. Because what I see sometimes is that someone who knows that and everybody would agree that person is putting more effort, value, safety, his life or her life or whatever into the thing, should deserve to get paid more than someone that is doing something that is not as dangerous and not as technical, maybe not whatever, what I'm saying? It's not hard to do that. Just like we pay cleaning ladies, very low amount of money because cleaning is not a high cognitive, high intelligence thing. It's not, compared to a surgeon who's trying to save a life, right? So there's always going to be those people who have different choices, and no one's better than the other. Well, intrinsically, but relatively speaking, if you need your life to be saved because you got fucked up and you need a surgeon to save your life, then technically he is better than the cleaning lady, But that's just all relative and it's situational, so it doesn't even matter, right? That's what I'm saying. Intrinsically, I hate the bad fuck. Intrinsically, that doesn't matter. So, anywho, I just wanted to give, an update to people who are there, show a face to behind this project. I don't want to necessarily. I'm still contemplating whether when I release these movies, and it won't be on this channel, okay? It won't be on this channel. So it's kind of like I'm having fun too. I have different channels for different things of how I view. Just I have different channels for different purposes, okay? So some of them may go viral, right? Or maybe a couple of them go viral, and they're like, wait, isn't that the same guy? You know, whatever. But I also kind of want to, or maybe also sometimes a mystery, like, okay, who's behind this? Because also it's not, I don't want it to be about me. Even though I'm just the channel it's coming through, right? That's it. I'm just the channel it's coming through. I'm not taking ownership. I'm just taking ownership that I'm the channel, but I'm the channel. But the channel is also creating something that is, again, it's not the, it's about the idea. And the idea eventually, that's how it is anyways. The idea is what lives on, right? Just like Lenin has died, and fucking Marx has died, and Jesus has died, and Buddha has died, but these concepts are still going forward and, you know, evolving or whatever the fuck, you know, just anywho, it's the concept, is the idea that this is going to live long beyond, but specifically is the designs, and of course the designs are never necessarily done, right? Because again, they're just, for the most part, they are templates rooted in our commonality versus in our differences. Just like even if I open source the blueprints of the city to the world, if they're not going to build on a mountainside, it's totally different. They're going to have to tweak these things a little bit, you know, basically. Yeah. But tweaking is far less cost far less. It will cost far less than starting from scratch. You know, again, cookie cutter, it does have its place, right? It is going to be cheaper for that. Like if we build multiple of these buildings and we learn so many things, and now we can pass it on to them. When they build it, it's going to be quicker, faster, less material waste, just maybe even more efficient. It's just like, oh shit. Actually, in retrospect, now that we're really, even though virtual reality helps eliminate part of that, there's still going to be some percentage of buildings that once you finally build it, like, oh shit, like for whatever reason we couldn't or we didn't anticipate this in the virtual reality model, right? So there's going to be a virtual reality model for each city. That's part of the design. Again, the features, the concepts that are in this, that are just going to be revolutionary, and you need to show people how it's practiced, not just, you know, verbally describe tours of the thing. No, you need to just kind of create a story, right? Create a story. Okay, what would it be like growing up in this, you know, when it's all full and running, right? You have to show them the full picture, and then we can work in reverse. But okay, this is, so now that you see how fucking amazing your life would be, how can we get there, right? Now that you sold them on heaven, right? How do you act to get to heaven? How do you, to get there, to utopia? How do you get to a resource-based economy, or a moneyless society, or a loving society, or whatever you want to fucking call it, right? So yeah, that's what I realized, and I'm like, it would be nice to have people donate money. I may put some effort into it, but at the same time, like, you know, it just says make the money, and I could do that anyway. So I'm saying, even when I spend $1 million and I start advertising, then I can start getting donations now. So it's not the end. I'm just saying it would be nice to have it now, where I can quit my job and completely dedicate myself to this. But say even but that's what I'm saying. You need to get me out of my work, right? But then the money to even, you know, like, there's different phases. So the first phase would be, well, obviously getting me out of work, right? Okay, now I don't need to work at all. Okay, now I'm like, okay, I start designing the process, and I run into like, oh fuck, I need this particular projector and this scanner and this software and this equipment or whatever to draw out my storyboard for the creative agencies. Therefore, when I go to them, now it's even clearer, faster. They're doing their job more efficiently. We get that done. Now we hire the marketing team. You know, we hire the lawyers first, because the lawyers have to, you know, we drop the contracts and that. Now we have everything. We have the team building the website, so people come in and sign up and basically create their in a sense, they would be creating their citizenship within this new sovereign. You could view it as a nation, city, whatever. It's just whatever. It's totally different. Just like when you move to a city, you know, you're gonna have to. There's certain things how you register, and you kind of already naturally register because you're applying for utilities in the city level. But whatever. I'm saying It's gonna be kind of like a somewhat of a social note, but it has real world implications. I know. Anyways, I'm just saying there's a website. Then you have obviously the lawyers that will jump over the contracts, because because we are gonna be in a sense become a public company, a private but yet public. We will be private first, and then we'll go public. Okay. But I'm saying, even in the private sector, you need to have contracts of like, okay, these are the shares, right? These how much equity you get when you buy in, and this is how much equity you build when you do this or that, right? All the technical stuff that true savvy investors, right, engineers, can understand, because that's what they're gonna, the rich people are going to make the environment for the artists to come and do their craft and not have to worry about surviving, okay, and more importantly thriving, because these art people usually don't, art people, or people just without skills either, right? The artless too, people who don't even have artistic skills, whether it's a baker or a painter or architect or whatever, what's it called? Yeah, those people don't, but they have labor. Okay, so they have labor. I'm just saying they have labor, right? Oh, God, I gotta get to bed. I'm rambling here, but all right, we'll see what happens. That's an update. Nice to meet you all. I don't think I showed my face in other videos. I may delete this eventually, whatever. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, if somehow, I'm not making it completely hard, but I'll still make it somewhat of a chase, because obviously I have to be the voice of it, but I always keep repeating that I am just a channel, right, and focus more on the idea. And of course, there will be times where I'll be like, hey, you know what? This person said something. Either they gave me the idea, or they said something or did something that triggered a connection in my brain. Therefore, I create this new idea, or addition to this, or add to the idea that makes it even far better, right? So, anywho, peace.